All right, let's dive into something that could help change the direction of our community. The Women of Delta Sigma Theta, the Louisville Alumni Chapter, is holding an event called Women on the Run.
It's a virtual boot camp for women interested in running for office or serving on community boards and commissions. And it's open to the public.
Yeah, joining us today are judges Denise Brown and Lori Goodwin. Welcome to the show, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So, Judge Brown, we'll start with you, and we'll talk specifically about the Women on the Run event in a minute. But as a woman who has gone through a successful campaign, maybe multiple, I'm not sure how many times you campaigned, but why is it important to get more women involved in this process?
Well, what we found is that women who second guess themselves and feel like they're not ready. And so we want people to be prepared and know that there are resources out there to help them get ready to run. I mean, there's so many elected offices, boards and commissions that we can participate on that really need our input and our wisdom. And we want to encourage women to do that.
You know, I was telling Eric before the interview, I love this idea so much because sometimes the biggest barrier is not knowing who to ask, not knowing how to get in, right? And Judge Goodwin, tell us a little bit more about Women on the Run and how this helps get women in. It helps open the door, which is sometimes the hardest thing in the world.
Of course. So next Saturday, December the 11th, we will be hosting our 4th annual Women on the Run event. It's going to be held virtually this year. And also streamed via Facebook Live. If you are interested, we ask that you register at dstlouisville.org/on-the-run. And so we're going to have 3 panel discussions next Saturday. Our theme this year is power in our vote, power in our voice, and power in our vision. And so we really encourage women in the community, and men can join as well, to come out and just hear from our esteemed panelists about how you can get involved in running an election campaign, getting on boards and commissions, serving on school boards, SBDM boards, or just all the different types of boards, commissions, elected offices that we really want women to get involved with in our community.
I love everything about that, and I know how much the Deltas do throughout our community, so I'm glad to have you both on today. Judge Brown, you heard me mention that you and Lori have both run successful campaigns and elections and are now on the bench. But for you specifically, how beneficial would it have been for you to have had an event like this when you were starting out?
Oh, it would have taken a tremendous amount of stress off your shoulders, because if it's your first time running, you have no idea what to do. And not everyone can afford to, pay for a campaign manager or somebody to kind of walk you through all of the steps. But having this type of information, knowing where to start, knowing how to fundraise, knowing how to pick your race, knowing the people that you need to surround yourself with that are basically already in your tribe. These are not usually new people, but these are folks that already have seen that this is something they think you can do anyway. And you need a lot of those folks around you to encourage you along the journey, because it's scary the first time you do it. And it has a lot of twists and turns that you probably don't anticipate. And so having this kind of knowledge and information would have just shaved years off of the stress that we endure when you run a race.
That's
they're stressful enough just doing them, even if it's your 3rd or 4th time running for something. But this would be wonderful to help you, guide you with all the resources that are available.
And Judge Goodwin, a question for you. Overall, if we take a step back, why is it so important to get more people involved? What does that mean for our community?
Well, I think it is so important that we have a wide range or segment of the community serving on boards and commissions and in elected offices. We don't want a monolith being in charge of everything that happens in our community. So we need individuals from different socioeconomic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, genders, we always say representation
Yeah.
matters. And so we want to make sure that we really have everybody at the table making decisions that are best for the people in our community. And so we really want to encourage everyone to try to get involved in something. If it's something they're interested in, use their voice to help better our community for the whole.
And lastly, Lori, one other question to you, just because full disclosure, Lori and I have known each other for more than 20 years. We go way back. And I know when you start your first campaign, there were some difficulties, you know,
Oh,
and I don't know the extent of what those were. What were some of the things that you either struggled with or found difficult or surprising when you first started out?
well, just to piggyback off what Judge Brown said, before you really get into the whole throes of it, you don't really realize the magnitude of running a campaign. And so it takes a lot of time. Ultimately, it's another full time job.
Yeah,
You don't realize how big Jefferson County is until you're out here trying to reach every voter in Jefferson
that's a
County.
good point.
You know, you have to raise money. You have to make sure you get your name out there, show up to events, let the community know why you are the most qualified person for this position you're seeking. And that takes a lot of time and commitment. And if you've never run a campaign before, you don't really know how daunting it is. But one of my biggest, obstacles was fundraising. Um, I worked at a public interest law firm before I took to the bench. And so, I know a lot of people think lawyers, we know all these people with big bucks, the big
Right.
pockets. Uh, but, most of my family and friends are everyday working day people, blue collar workers, teachers, people who are working in different office environments. And so you really have to strategize
Right.
and figure out how to get the support from people in the way that they can support you.
Well,
And so
Lori,
running my first campaign really taught me that.
right. Well, Judge Goodwin, Judge Brown, thank you both so much for joining us for this very important event. We'll mention or remind people the Women on the Run event is set for Saturday, December 11th at 10 a.m. This is a virtual event held via Zoom. It will also be live streamed on Facebook. They do ask that you register. It is free for participants locally, regionally, and nationally. To learn more or to register, visit dstlouisville.org/ontherun.